County. So those are real time, so they'll update. And I can see when this gust happened. So 37 mile per hour happened at 6:25. That gust happened at 6:18. So these are a little bit older. They're not. This one was within the last 15 minutes, 6:40. So we'll see how high those go. But just to show you, those winds have really. These are by far the highest they've seen all day. And I'm curious if we'll see an uptick in those power outages too.
No ground stop as of now.
Okay.
Good
pilots.
A little bumpy.
Yeah, that's what I told somebody earlier. I said it'll be a bumpy flight in there.
Sure will. Brad, something I noticed earlier today, and you were kind of showing it on the Anson County camera as well, but, when I drove into work, I don't know when it was, 9 or 10 o'clock or something like that, you're going along the highway and you're just seeing it looked like you could reach out and grab the clouds.
Yeah.
That they were that low. A couple of if you're just an amateur weather spotter, signs of a severe weather potential day. Very low clouds that are very fast moving.
Yeah.
Like get a frame of reference, look at it against your house, look at it against a tree, notice how fast they're kind of trucking along. Storms don't create their own wind. They need to get that wind from somewhere else.
Yep.
And so they get it from the upper levels. And if you have that conveyor belt of that really fast wind, and especially if it's low to the ground, well, then it's easier to mix it down. And so that was available to everyone today. It just wasn't able to be realized every place, which is good. We don't want that.
Yeah.
But, it was there.
We look at those LCLs, those lifted condensation levels, how low the base is. Usually the rule of thumb for tornadoes, less than 1,000, but you get 500 or 800 feet, boy, that's when you tend to see some of the bigger tornadoes because there's less room between the cloud base and the ground for a thunderstorm to stretch out some vorticity there. So today could have been a lot worse. And I think maybe for everyone who is letting their guard down, like you said, give the all clear in the Raleigh area, they might be regretting that because this might be a rough evening. They might see a subtle uptick. And I've seen this a couple times, Tim, with our really strong cold fronts this time of year. You get this kind of sneaky wind gust, and you'll see an uptick in power outages because unlike the thunderstorm, which is a quick burst, sometimes the cold front winds last like 5-10 minutes at a time. It's a really strong wind for an extended period of time.
Really can be. And cold front, we didn't talk too much about the cold, but we'll talk a lot more about that the next couple days. A very cold St. Patrick's Day. Frost freeze problems the next couple of days. Yep. Mid-20s, unfortunately, by Wednesday morning. So it's going to be a bit of an issue, and just got to get ready for it.
Yeah, bundle up. Of course, that'll be the story the next couple of days. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We got more WCNC Plus coming up after the break.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being with us here for Live Impact News. I'm Vanessa Rufus. We'll be together until 9 o'clock tonight, checking out all of your big breaking feeds and headlines, deeper dives throughout the evening. We want to start off with a meeting we're watching from our area here in the Charlotte area. This is the York County Council meeting. They got a few items on the agenda tonight of note. There is supposed to be a discussion about the Silfab solar facility, which has been receiving some backlash from within the community, especially following those two latest chemical incidents, which impacted operations, also impacted a nearby school. And we understand that there are going to be protesters. In fact, looking at the feed right now, even as they're discussing other items, it looks like we even see some signs in the back that pertain to Silfab Solar with some of the community members that are sitting in this meeting after having protested outside earlier. Let's listen in right now.
Construction trades and obviously the life sciences. We expect that project to last over several years, hopefully starting construction as early as 2027 and completing construction in 2030. Okay, all right. And that's all I have. Are there any questions for me or the team?
Well, first of all, I'd just like to say thank you, Dr. Moore, and your whole team and your board for being here. It's nice to have so many folks in the community be able to hear the report that you give. Oftentimes, this report is given, and there are a few people in the audience. This is a jewel in our county to have York Tech here, and the work that you do to help provide workforce to our community is critical, and it's proving to show that it's growing leaps and bounds, and we appreciate all of the work and attention that you give to this. And I'll also say that in the years that I've been watching and seeing how the school is growing, you've done it within your budget, and you've never once had to come to us and ask for an increase in anything, and that's phenomenal because it shows how much attention you pay to your capital plans, that you have a plan when you're looking at your administration levels. And so I just want to say thank you on behalf of the county for the work that you do to help our community. And I'll certainly open it up to any council member. And I'll also say many of us who are sitting up here and those of us who have lived here, we have children who've gone to this school. We have, many of us have been to that school, and we have learned from that. So it's a personal thing for us.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, so real quick, first of all, thank you. What you're doing in the community is phenomenal. You see the results of it across the board. Attracting new businesses in the area, enabling opportunity across the board for all kinds of different types of jobs, which is critical. So I applaud y'all. Just keep up the great work, and we thank you. Appreciate it. Excellent.
I just want to say real quick that I'm a product of York Tech. I appeared in an ad over 10 years ago. It was like a full-page ad in the Herald when that circulation was at an all-time high. And I'm reminded every time I go to my mom's house, because she still has it on her refrigerator in the house that I grew up in. So I'm definitely reminded of my humble beginnings, where I come from. And certainly I was at the campus back in 92, 93, so I've seen it grow and evolve. And then being on council, hearing some of the intricate details of what it takes to run a college, what the budget looks like, and how it's grown, and the programming that has grown with it. The company I work for has a program that gets individuals ready to come to work where I work at. So I'm definitely connected in the loop of many different aspects of York Tech. I don't want to call it a great value. I'll say it's the best value in education. I would encourage any high school student looking to come out of high school, whether they need to find themselves in a college classroom, find themselves in any training or certificate program, it is the best value that we offer across the state, bar none. And to hear and know that it's been expanded into Chester County, Lancaster County, it just magnifies the importance of having such a solid institution in our community that offers so many programs to so many individuals that you can find yourself at York Tech. If you don't know where you want to be in 3, 4, 5 years, take some classes at York Tech, find out what you're really interested in. And then I'll say I had a professor, I think it's Carl Opperman. I thought I was going to be a math teacher until I took an economics class, and he just blew me away. And I got on that track, and I majored in economics because that one professor opened my eyes to what those possibilities could be. And my hat goes off to him. I don't know if he's still around or whatever become of him, but I got my footing at York Tech, and it's a great place for students to start. So thank you.
I won't repeat what everybody else has already said, but being born and raised here in Rock Hill, it's good to watch York Tech change and evolve. And it's always interesting to see new leadership come in and the impact they have. So congratulations on your success, particularly the shorter credential program for workforce development, I think is significant for York County, and the dual credit program as well. Thank you so much.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. We are going to move now to our public forum session. This is an opportunity where council can hear from individuals who come and sign up for 2 minutes each, up to 15 individuals. A few comments, and I think we've got a lot of folks. We could tell when we walked in today what most people were coming to speak to council about. We certainly are here to listen. A few items that I run through every time we have discussion. I would ask when you come forward if you would please state your name and give your address before you start speaking. If you would also ensure that you keep your comments to something that are general issues before the council. We ask that you not call out individuals because this is a time for you to share what issues are in front of council. It is not a time for us to respond back or to respond to questions. We would ask that we keep everything respectful, and we want to maintain decorum. So when someone is speaking, we ask that folks remain quiet. I don't know that there will be anyone here who will give an opinion that's different than what most are here for, but what we ask is that if you're here and you have others who share your concern, have them stand up, and they can be acknowledged that way. We ask that you refrain from clapping or booing, either one. We want to make sure that this is a space where folks feel free to come in and speak and to share their opinions. I think I covered everything. First individual on the list is Tim Haggerty. Oh, I forgot the part about the 2 minutes. I'm going to rely on you guys to pay attention to the screen so that I don't have to cut you off. Hopefully I don't have to do that, and you'll see that before that time comes up.
I got the 2 minutes. I don't think that'll be a problem tonight. Tim Haggerty, 747 Birchway Drive in Fort Mill. I'm not going to make a speech. I'm going to start us off with a prayer. And this is a prayer that I wrote in October of 2024. And it is in, it's been our kind of our prayer at Move Silfab and at KG. And it goes like this. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for guiding our hearts and minds during this difficult and trying time. Thank you for bringing together a strong, diverse, and passionate group of people to lend their time and talents to oppose this tyranny. We ask that you help us to remain energetic and focused on the successful outcome of protecting the citizens of York County. We ask that you open the hearts and minds of those placed in a position to right this wrong. And we ask that you continue to lead us on the path and open our eyes to any possible solutions that we have not yet considered. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. If you are here in support of Move Silfab, I'd ask you to stand at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. John Worth.
Hi, my name is John Worth, and I live at 731 Amberley Crossing in the Bailiwick subdivision in Fort Mill. York County has been home for 44 years and is filled with good and decent people, just like everyone here today. On March 3rd through 5th, theory ended and reality began. When hazardous chemical releases occurred at Silfab, the reality of the events provided focused clarity. The issue is not going away. The public is engaged and enraged. The risk is real. Thankfully, the most dangerous explosive pyrophoric chemicals were not involved. If they had, there could have been fatalities and serious injuries. Silfab will not be transparent. They will mischaracterize and spin the story. The KOH spill was a water spill, the HF leak a drip, and Silfab's hand was forced to admit the HF leak. Communication failed. Parents went to Flint Hill for their children more than an hour later, and the school was unaware. Citizens notified DES and the school district, not Silfab. Children were at recess when the KOH spill occurred, so let that sink in for a minute. Children at recess completely exposed. Let's face some truths. The USC experts were right. The Board of Zoning Appeals was right. Fort Mill School District has now recognized the risk. So why does York County management still get it wrong? The simple fact remains. Silfab is a heavy industrial chemical processing operation, and hazardous chemicals do not belong in a light industrial zone surrounded by schools, neighborhoods, and senior living. The risk is real. It was a warning shot and we got lucky. Next time could be a disaster. So I ask a simple question. What are you going to do? You have the authority. Public safety is at risk. Revoke the CO and end the nightmare that never should have started. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Rachel Cox. Folks, I asked y'all at the outset to please refrain from that, and I'm gonna maintain that, so please.
Hi, my name is Rachel Cox. I'm a resident of Fort Mill. More importantly, I'm a mom of a student that goes to Flint Hill Elementary School. I don't know where you guys were on March 5th, but I was standing in line of a line of anxious and terrified parents waiting to be reunified with my son. One of hundreds of children that had to get bused across Fort Mill because Silfab Solar let a chemical leak go unreported for over a week. A week. You can bet it will happen again. I'm grateful for Superintendent Gray Young and Principal Michelle Greitz for their swift action. That is what leadership looks like. What we've unfortunately now witnessed is exactly what your constituents have been warning you about all along. Silfab is negligent, unqualified, not only to operate in general, but especially next to two schools. Our state reps have called for action. The Fort Mill School District passed a resolution. From this council, we got canned email responses and social media posts telling us that you're deeply disappointed in Silfab. And with all due respect, that's not what your constituents need. The gaslighting has to end. Your silence needs to end. Folks say revoking the CO will cost too much. I was standing in line on March 5th, wondering if my son was safe. Tell me, what is that worth to you? The AG has confirmed that you have the authority to act, revoke the CO, and protect our kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Jamie Castilla.
Jamie Costilla, 774 Gates Mill Drive, number 203. Good evening, County Council. I am here today to ask that York County Council revoke the certificate of occupancy issued to Silfab. A certificate of occupancy is supposed to represent the final confirmation that a project complies with zoning and all required permits. In this case, that assurance simply does not exist. The permits underlining Silfab's approval were issued without zoning compliance. When the foundational permits for a project are legally questionable, the certificate of occupancy that follows cannot stand on solid ground. Allowing it to remain in place sends the message that zoning rules can be bypassed and corrected later, rather than followed from the beginning. Zoning laws exist to protect communities, ensure transparency, and guarantee that development follows the same rules for everyone. If York County allows the certificate of occupancy to remain valid when the underlying permits were issued without proper zoning compliance, it undermines the integrity of the entire permitting process. This is not about stopping development. It's about ensuring that development happens lawfully and fairly. The unlawful CO has direct implications of health and safety, including what will soon be 2,000 children. The appropriate step It's simple. Revoke the certificate of occupancy. York County residents deserve confidence that the ruling governing land use are applied consistently and legally. Upholding those standards today protects both the community and the credibility of the county's process moving forward. I'll leave you with this. All that it takes for bad things to happen is for good people to do nothing. So it's now your responsibility to do something and revoke the CO.
Thank you, ma'am. Britt Gildner.
Brittany Gildner. I live at 1130 Gold Rush Court in Fort Mill. The public is being told something that is simply not true. A certificate of occupancy is not zoning approval. A CO only confirms that a building meets construction and safety codes. It does not determine whether a use is legally allowed under zoning. That decision must come from zoning staff through a formal appealable zoning determination, and that never happened here. Instead, the county issued something called a zoning verification. That document is not defined anywhere in the York County zoning ordinance. It is not appealable, and it was used as a substitute for the process the law requires. Now the public is being told residents cannot appeal the certificate of occupancy, but that's not what the law says. Under York County zoning code, the zoning administrator must issue formal zoning compliance approval before permits are valid, under sections 155, 1122 to 1123. The code also states that light industrial does not include hazardous material treatment or storage facilities under section 155, 1301. And the Board of Zoning Appeals has authority to review zoning decisions made by county staff under sections 155, 971 to 974. Silfab never received a zoning compliance approval. So when the county says residents cannot appeal, we know that the rules are being rewritten after the fact to avoid accountability. York County residents are not asking for procedural deflection. We are asking our elected officials to act. The South Carolina Attorney General has stated publicly that York County has the authority to revoke a certificate of occupancy if it was issued improperly, as this CO was. York County Council also has the authority to address zoning violations and to protect public safety. Our community deserves transparency, accountability, and leadership. Please protect the interests of your community. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ashley Horn.
My name is Ashley Horn. I live in Regent Park in Fort Mill. Good evening, Council. On March 11th, a member of this council posted publicly on Facebook that the county has to be careful because otherwise you might lose the inevitable lawsuit and have to pay a few $100 million in damages, and the business is still allowed to continue to operate. Think about that statement for a minute. It means that the public is being told that York County cannot enforce its own zoning laws because someone might sue. That is protecting liability instead of enforcing the law. And it raises a serious question. If enforcing your own ordinance could cost hundreds of millions of dollars in court, then what does that say about how project was handled in the first place? The liability did not appear out of thin air. It came from skipping the process required by zoning code. The public keeps hearing technical arguments about appeals and procedures, but the law is actually very clear. The zoning ordinance requires formal zoning compliance approval before permits are valid. The code states that light industrial does not include hazardous material treatment or storage facilities. And the Board of Zoning Appeals has authority to review zoning decisions made by county staff. Yet Silfab never received a formal zoning compliance approval. So when residents hear that the county cannot act because someone might sue, it sounds less like legal guidance and more like an excuse to avoid accountability. But let's talk about cost. Council is worried about the cost of a lawsuit that could reach a few $100 million. Right next to this facility are schools that will hold roughly 1,800 children once fully built out. Even if you take the low end of that statement and divide $200 million by those children, that works out to about $111,000 per child. So the real question is simple. Are we putting a dollar value on our children's safety? Because based off public Facebook quotes, it sure seems that way. Government is not supported to protect itself.
Thank you, ma'am. Patrick Lloyd.
Hi, good evening, Council. My name is Patrick Lloyd. I live at 3503 Conway Court, Fort Mill. In 1776, this nation was founded on a simple idea that all men are created equal under the law. That idea requires something very basic, that the law applies equally to everyone. Today, York County faces a test of that idea. Not on a battlefield like the one remembered at Gettysburg, but here in our own community, a test of whether government will follow the laws it has written. Our zoning ordinance is clear. Industrial uses require formal zoning compliance approval before they operate, and that process was never completed. Instead, the public has been giving shifting explanations. A parking lot approval treated as zoning, a zoning verification treated as approval, and now a certificate of occupancy being used as if it replaces zoning. It does not. Lincoln said at Gettysburg that the world would little note nor long remember what was said there, but it could never forget what they did there. Tonight, the people of York County will remember what is done here, whether the law is enforced equally or whether it is set aside. We cannot dedicate ourselves to selective enforcement. We cannot honor the rule of law by explaining why it does not apply. The question before this council is whether our local government will remain what it was meant to be, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, one where the law applies equally to everyone, or one where it does not. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jessica Buffler.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jessica Buffler. I'm in Fort Mill in Regent Park. Last week, the Fort Mill School Board took a clear and responsible step by passing a formal resolution addressing the Silfab facility located next to Flint Hill Elementary School and the Flint Hill Middle School currently under construction. In that resolution, the school board requested that Governor Henry McMaster, the South Carolina General Assembly, Attorney General Alan Wilson, and York County Council exercise their authority to permanently restrict the site to non-hazardous assembly operations and require the removal of chemicals from the facility. The school board explained why this action was necessary. The district has a legal and moral responsibility to protect more than 18,000 students and 2,500 employees. Two chemical release incidents occurred only days apart and forced Flint Hill Elementary to close for multiple days, disrupting learning, creating undesirable fear among students, parents, and teachers and staff. The school board also recognized what many residents have been saying for months, which is that a large-scale chemical manufacturing and storage next to schools is an incompatible land use for this location. The York County Board of Zoning Appeals has already ruled that Silfab's manufacturing operations violate the requirements of the light industrial zoning designated at that site. The school board fulfilled its responsibility to protect students and asked this council and other state leaders to act within their authority. The question tonight is whether York County Council will do the same. This community is looking to you to enforce the zoning rules that govern this county and to ensure that hazardous chemical operations are not allowed next to our schools. For the sake of the students, the teachers, and the families who live here, the community is asking York County Council to step up and act. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Denise Bach.
Denise Bach, Hammond Road, Fort Mill. Good evening, Council. I want to ask each of you a simple question tonight. Why did you decide to run for York County Council? If you go to the county council, to the county website, it talks about service, leadership, and representing the people of this community. It talks about protecting the public interest and making decisions that reflect the will of the citizens who live here. Most of you probably ran because you care about this county, because you wanted to make things better, because you believe local government should listen to the people it serves. But moments like this are when those reasons are tested. Right now, our community is asking a simple question about the Silfab facility. Did the county follow its own zoning ordinance before allowing this operation to move forward? The ordinance required zoning compliance approval before an industrial use operates. That approval was never issued. Instead, the public has watched a series of explanations change over time, and now a certificate of occupancy is being used as if it replaces zoning. It does not. The question tonight is not complicated. It's the same question that likely brought many of you into public service in the first place. Will this county stand with the law and the citizens of York County, or will it stand with a process that bypass the rules everyone else must follow? Because the people of this county are watching, and they will remember the answer. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, ma'am. Andrea also.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Andrea Olson. I live at 580 Medora Lane in Fort Mill. Chairwoman, I'd like to speak directly to you tonight, if I may. You grew up here in York County, and you built your career here as an attorney. You raised your children here in our schools, and in 2021, you became the first woman to serve as the chair of this council. That's a meaningful accomplishment. It represents leadership, service, and the trust that this community has placed in you. Just exactly why this moment matters so much. Because I know that you understand something fundamental about government. The law only works when the process written in the law is actually followed. York County's zoning ordinance is clear. Before an industrial use can become operational, this requires zoning compliance approval, issued through a process that allows the public due process and the right to appeal. That approval was never issued. Instead, the public has watched a series of substitutes for the legal process. And as an attorney, you know the difference between a required legal process and a workaround. This community is not asking for anything extraordinary. We are asking that the ordinance written by this county be followed the same way it would be for anyone else. Chairwoman, you have built a reputation of service and leadership in this community. Do not let this project become the decision that defines your legacy here. You still have the opportunity to show that the law in York County applies equally to everyone. Please choose that path. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. As I began my comments earlier, I requested that that folks who come to speak restrict and not call out individual members. I, as chair, obviously have to take a lot of responsibility for our council that others don't. I get blamed for anything that goes wrong. I rarely get thanked for any of the things. I can take the comments as they come to me personally, but what I'm asking you to do is to follow the rules that I set out forward, and please keep your comments directed to the general items and not make this personal, okay?
Hey folks, you're listening here to the public comment section of the York County Council meeting. We lingered on this quite a bit since we were seeing a lot of back-to-back commentary regarding the Silfab solar facility there in Fort Mill, a facility that's drawn a lot of attention following those two chemical incidents, a leak and a spill that happened within the same week. Fairly recently impacted operations there, also impacted a nearby school, forcing it to temporarily close. You're hearing from a lot of community members who say they have a larger concern with the facility and eventually want it to essentially have its license revoked. You heard some of those folks calling for that. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll return. We imagine this commentary period will continue for a little bit longer, so we'll likely rejoin and wrap it up with more of the speakers we're seeing there in York County. Welcome back, folks, to Live Impact News. We've been listening into the York County Council meeting where we are hearing quite a few folks from the community taking to the podium during this public comment section to share their concerns they say they have with the Silfab solar facility. You remember, this is a facility that has recently drawn more headlines lately after those two separate chemical incidents within a single week recently, which impacted a local school that was nearby. Before we get back to this meeting, we actually just within the last few minutes got a new statement from Silfab Solar regarding its facility there in Fort Mill, and also given the fact that there is a lot of heightened attention lately, once again, on the facility. The statement reads as follows: Silfab Solar and the Department of Environmental Services have executed a compliance agreement which provides a series of conditions that Silfab has agreed to meet. Silfab also appreciates the South Carolina Attorney General's office communication deferring further action to the EPA and DES. The statement goes on to say Silfab will continue to keep stakeholders, including state, county, and school officials, updated with regard to the site work being performed in conjunction with the qualified third-party professional engineer. Silfab remains committed to the safety of our employees and the community, and we will continue to provide updates. With that, we'll send you back to this public comment section where we do continue to see folks speaking out against Silfab Solar.
Place requires Silfab to relocate to a properly zoned heavy industrial site. Protect the families who trusted you and this community to keep us safe. Show York County what leadership looks like. Move Silfab.
Thank you, ma'am. John Lee.
John Lee, 1398 Secret Path Drive. There's been a lot of chatter that if Silfab is limited to what light industrial zoning allows, that York County will be sued and taxpayers will face massive damages. That narrative is simply not how this works. Courts have made clear that when a company moves forward with development before confirming the official zoning record, it does so at its own risk. The South Carolina Supreme Court stated in Carolina Chloride versus Richland County that a business cannot rely solely on statements from county personnel and must review the official zoning record before making major investments. That principle applies here. Before the BZA ruled that solar manufacturing is not permitted in light industrial zoning, Silfab had only been approved to reconfigure a parking lot. 2 weeks after the BZA hearing, county management issued a statement that the parking lot approval had nothing to do with zoning. Absolutely nothing to do with zoning is the quote. Silfab was notified of the BZA decision and chose to proceed anyway. That was their choice, and it was their risk. South Carolina law also protects governments from liability when they are enforcing or interpreting their laws. In ordinances, South Carolina Code Section 15-78-60, subsection 4, enforcing zoning laws to protect public isn't the risk. The real risk is choosing to ignore the laws. Silfab's existing CO should be revoked, and they should be forced to reapply for a use that complies with light industrial zoning. This council voted to rezone those Flint Hill schools. Please protect the children that you all placed in harm's way. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Brandon Langford.
Good evening. My name is Brandon Langford. I live in District 1 in Fort Mill. For years, citizens warned this council about the risk posed by Silfab. We even commissioned an independent health risk assessment from USC. On March 3rd and 4th, those risks became reality. And on March 10th, the Fort Mill School District passed a resolution asking state and county officials to stop Silfab's illegal land use. And what has York County government done under this county manager? Instead of engagement, the county launched a website filled with self-serving conclusions that only gaslight the community.
Just for a minute, folks, we're going to break in with these brand new live images, very stunning images to see, in fact, out of Riverside, California, where our affiliate there is giving us these aerial images of what we're hearing is a lumberyard fire. Still looking for more details. Details are limited, once again, of this lumberyard fire in Riverside, California, but It looks like there is going to be probably quite a bit of damage there, and those flames are still very active. We're seeing some of the water there being shot out onto the flames, but really appears to be widespread across the facility. We'll monitor this as we get more information. We'll pass it along, and we probably at some point will put this in a small box for you to continue to monitor at the bottom of your screen while we now send you back to the Silfab Solar public comment period. During tonight's York County Council meeting, we still have members of the public speaking against the facility as we speak. So we'll send you back there for now.
Frustrated, angry, but we aren't confused. The responsibility lies with this administration. It's time for this council, elected by the people, to act. Revoke the Silfab CO that is placing children in danger, and fire the county manager.
Elizabeth Enns.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. That's uncalled for.
Folks, when we started this, what we asked for was to observe rules that we set out. And thankfully, y'all have observed most of them. I understand the concerns that are being raised from the community. But what we asked you to do was not to express personal opinions and to call out individuals. And so I'm going to reiterate that one last time. Then ask that you follow the rules.
I don't think that's enough.
Go ahead.
What? I mean, you know, at some point, we got to draw the line. We can't continue to say we can't have this, but still have it and still go on. This council got to decide.
Follow the rules.
Folks, we have one last speaker. I'm going to ask that you observe the rules that we set, ma'am.
Good evening, council. Thank you for being here tonight. My name is Elizabeth Enns. I live at 5011 Burnwald Court, walking distance to Logistics Lane. We stand united in our commitment to preserving the character and safety of our community. As you know, the zoning ordinance for this area is designated light industrial. This classification was intended to foster economic growth without sacrificing the quality of life for our families. The BZA ruling has made it clear the operations proposed by Silfab Solar constitute heavy industrial activity. This includes manufacturing processes with the use of a number of very hazardous chemicals that exceed the light industrial threshold. This poses risks of environmental harm, increased heavy truck traffic, and potential health hazards to our children, our elderly, and our environment. The BZA's decision underscores a critical mismatch, one that threatens the very fabric of our town. We are not opposed to responsible development, but we cannot stand by while our zoning laws are not being upheld. This is why we are respectfully requesting that you take immediate action. We ask that you revoke the certificate of occupancy entirely to safeguard our community's well-being. In light of the recent incidents at Silfab, this council voted to simply back DES's decision regarding Silfab. But as a community, we are asking you to fulfill your oath of office and enforce the very laws and safety guidelines that you were charged to uphold. Fort Mill deserves better, a balance of progress and protection. Please honor the BZA rulings and the voices here today by acting decisively in our favor. Our families, our homes, and our future depend on it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. This concludes our public forum session. Do we have a motion on consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve consent agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, consent agenda is approved. I'm going to allow folks to clear out.
All right, and while they're between potential items there on the agenda there in York County, we'll take another break here on Live Impact. Back in 2 minutes as we are getting some more information on that massive fire at a lumber yard in Riverside, California. We'll share that information that we just got in 2 minutes when we return. All right, welcome back, folks, as we continue to follow this live breaking feed coming to us from Riverside, California. We're now learning this is a 4-alarm fire that's underway at a lumber yard in Riverside. So this is calling a lot of stations to this scene. You can see the flames are still there, lots of smoke in the area, and several ladder trucks and hoses set up pouring water onto the flames at this point. This is a report that came in just after 3 p.m. West Coast time. If anyone is familiar with this area of Riverside, this is on Main Street. It's between Bartlett Avenue and Garner Road. Our affiliate out there is reporting that Main Street has been shut down until further notice. And actually looking at some of the aerials right now, looks like that fire has not only involved this lumberyard and the actual pallets there, but it looks like it could be spreading to the nearby brush. We know that California's been dealing with some dangerous heat as well, so it's unknown whether that will be making for a difficult firefight, but you could probably tell, as well as far as weather conditions, there is quite a bit of wind, and we were told that is definitely a concern. Some good news, we've not had any outward reports of injuries quite yet, so that is some good news, and hopefully it stays that way. It is also unclear what sparked the fire, so we'll look to see what that cause is once they determine it. But we'll continue to monitor this, and we'll keep you posted here on Live Impact News. We'll be taking a quick break here, folks. We'll be back in 2 minutes with either more from this scene or more from some of the other feeds that were falling around the area. All right, folks, welcome back to Live Impact News. We do continue to watch that breaking feed out of Riverside, California. We're still seeing that firefight underway as firefighters are on scene of a lumberyard, which we're told has hit now that 4-alarm fire threshold. This is a pallet yard, and apparently multiple pallets were reported engulfed in flames on this facility on Main Street between Bartlett and Garner Road around 3 o'clock West Coast time. And we're also seeing some of those flames jumping over to the nearby brush, which you can kind of see is still smoking up towards the top left portion of your screen. Also noting, of course, a lot of hoses at work, ladder trucks dumping water there. We're seeing still flames on that site, as well as what appears to be a combination of lighter smoke and darker smoke. And we tend to point out the color of the smoke when we look at these fires, because the darker smoke usually indicates that there are materials that are actively burning. And once we start to see that smoke turn lighter, seems to indicate more of a steam nature to the smoke, so that it's kind of a more promising color to see with that smoke. So what we're seeing, this is still very active, and we've got these aerials coming to us from our affiliate out there. We'll continue to keep an eye on that, noting, of course, that the weather is making an impact. We're hearing windy conditions not being a friend, and we also know that the West Coast has been dealing with some dangerous heat, too. So unknown whether that's playing a factor, but at the very least, that probably doesn't feel great for those firefighters. So hopefully they are staying safe. We've not gotten any reports of injuries at this hour, which is some good news to hear. Speaking of weather impacts, we do continue to see brand new images of storm-related damage here in our area in Charlotte. In fact, within the last hour, we've gotten a few new images to us to our Live Impact News studio. First off, you can see this is a gas station. Viewer Joshua Cottle sent this to us. This is the store near Tyson Foods, the convenience store and gas station. We're told this is Monroe, Highway 74 going into the town of Wingate. And you can see it appears as though the winds have pushed that roof, that awning over, the one that kind of stretches over those gas pumps, and that is now collapsed. So you can see one angle there. The next photo that we have gotten, that block, that collection of images you can see is kind of the side angle as the vehicle is passing by, but there you can see kind of the top of that awning as it is now tipped over. We heard one of our weather producers who flagged us on these images that were coming into our newsroom, saying, that this definitely tracks with some of the winds that we've been following this evening. The good news is, it does sound like some of the worst as far as weather impacts are already behind us. As you probably have heard at this point, we had an EF0 tornado in the Atondo area of Charlotte, which did some damage to a facility, a warehouse out in that area. We also have brand new this hour here, Cornelius, town of Cornelius, reporting some roadblocks over in Meridian Street. This is also from the wind. We're told that this is causing a roadblock there on Meridian due to that tree there. You can see it's uprooted and has fallen there in the roadway. Town of Cornelius saying that power lines are down. It looks like utilities are on site working to clean things up. And the tree, they say, will be cleaned up shortly after that power is turned out, but this will be an impact for folks who are part of the Electricity's territory. And as far as drivers are concerned, this will be an area to steer clear of. Once again, this is Meridian Street in Cornelius. So for folks who are out there and you're able to safely send us images, make sure that you pass those along to us. You can email them to us. A really handy and easy way is to kind of download our WCNC Charlotte mobile app and use that Near Me feature. You can upload photos directly there, and they actually geolocate automatically. You can put a credit to your name if you want us to credit you, and it will also give you a little line if you want to add a commentary just to kind of describe what we're seeing. And we really appreciate it. It does help tell the story for folks who are watching at home. So keep those images coming and stay tuned as we track those weather impacts going on through the rest of this evening. All right, another quick break for us here. Back in 2 minutes, we've got a couple feeds we're watching, of course, out on the West Coast with that fire. Also keeping an eye on the York County Council meeting, which is still underway. And we've got a few other headlines to touch on from our area and beyond, too. So stick with us here on Live Impact News. All right, folks, welcome back to Live Impact News. We're going to turn back to the York County Council meeting. Looks like they're still discussing a few items on the agenda, so let's listen in for a bit.
45% increase from last year. Those are not in the numbers you just looked at, and these are those short-term programs, less than a year. We're seeing increased interest in short-term programs, whether that's in truck driving, in emergency medical management, as paramedics, as line workers, and beyond. Huge increase in those students who want shorter-term credentials. Apprenticeships are also on the rise. We're very excited to have increasing number of apprenticeships, both number of companies and in number of apprentice occupations themselves. So there's apprentices now in everything, nursing, business, not just the trades. Awards and graduates, as we really look at this, student success is our core mission. So when you're looking at, it's important not just to have what we often say in higher ed, butts and seats. It's important to have enrollment, but you've got to get them across the finish line. If student success matters to you, they've got to get across the finish line so that their lives are better. You'll see the number of awards we gave last year would increase 17% and the number of graduates 21%. The reason the awards in those blue bars outpace the orange bar number of graduates is our students graduate with multiple credentials. So we engage a stackable credential model. So you're getting, if you're in nursing, you have that certified nursing assistant, you stack onto an LPN, then an RN. If you're in machining, you might get a ready-to-work credential, and then a CNC operator, then that machine tool technology degree. It allows students to come in and out of the college based on when their what life suits them, but they always have an industrial or ready-to-work credential after each of those. When you compare how we're doing in those number of awards given with our closest peers in the technical college system in terms of size, so those colleges who are about the same size as us, last year we gave 17% more awards that students achieved for their lives compared to where you see some of our peers in the number of awards. And then when you look at course completion, so again, looking at student success, if you take all the thousands of courses we offer and you see what percentage of those courses are students passing with a grade of C or better, we're in the #1 spot for the technical college system of course completion rates. So we're very excited about that. Moving into some of those initiatives that Chairwoman Cox discussed at the beginning. Couple of opportunities I'll give you first as we think about that future vision and importance of where York Tech is positioning ourselves in the next few years. Those short-term credentials are in high demand. Last year alone in the United States, 65% of all higher education credentials, from two-year institutions all the way up to doctoral degrees, 65% of them were 1 year or less certificates. The demand for shorter-term credentials is dramatic. Unmet labor market demands are aligned with two-year colleges. Last year alone, there were 712,000 job shortage in what we call the middle skill credential jobs. So those jobs that require a 2-year degree or less, 712,000, and they are in blue collar jobs. They are in business jobs like sales and occupations. They are in healthcare and allied health. They are in STEM like information security, life sciences, web developers, engineering technologists, in protective services like law enforcement, firefighters, all in that 2-year space. So that demand is dramatic and it fits well for us. Workforce Pell from the federal government will begin in July. That allows us to use federal dollars to help pay for those short-term credentials, which in the past have been ineligible for Pell Grant. When you look at where are we really looking, those focus areas, right now you're looking at regional workforce demand for our 3-county radius. So we always align ourselves, workforce relevance is the most important thing we do next to student success. And so we have to align ourselves with both the state's.
All right, folks, we'll take another quick break here on Live Impact. Back in 2 minutes with more of our headlines from around the Charlotte area. Hey folks, welcome back to Live Impact News. I'm Vanessa Rufus. We're turning to some of our headlines here in the Charlotte area. We did see the governor in town today, Governor Josh Stein visiting Charlotte. As Citigroup is opening a new office, says it's bringing several hundred jobs to the Charlotte area. Let's go ahead and listen to that event today.
City for Charlotte, and I'm very excited to be here today. Today marks an important milestone as we celebrate City's continued commitment to this great city and region. Charlotte has played a significant role in City's growth. That success is no coincidence. It's a direct reflection of the extraordinary talent here. The people of Charlotte fuel the operational excellence and technological innovation that move our company forward. And we are proud to deepen our roots here in this community. And I'm honored to be joined by many distinguished leaders, including Governor Stein. And thank you for your partnership and for celebrating this moment with us. So we're equally proud to have so many city colleagues, as I look across the room, with us today. Their passion and dedication represent the very best of our company. So with that, I will introduce Governor Stein to come up and share a few comments.
Thank you, Cindy, for opening the program and for welcoming us all here today. It is wonderful to be in Charlotte. Pleased to be joined by Lieutenant Governor Hunt, Chairman Mark Durrell of the County Board of Commissioners, and I see a number of our legislative colleagues. Thank you all for being here and doing such a fantastic job representing Mecklenburg County and Raleigh. A number of local officials are here as well. All of us are here because we are so excited to welcome and join the entire city team for this incredible announcement. Today we're celebrating City's investment in Charlotte, an investment in North Carolina, and an investment in the people who make this state such a great place to live and work. City is committed to investing an additional $16 million in Charlotte, and the company plans to add more than 500 new good-paying jobs by the end of 2027. This creates hundreds of new opportunities for the talented people of North Carolina to thrive. And it's another sign that Charlotte continues to grow as this country's second largest financial center in the entire United States. City has long been a global leader in financial services, and today's announcement reaffirms its commitment to the Queen City. They're adding to their already existing footprint of about 350 employees who work across several lines of business in Charlotte. Highly skilled professionals doing important work to help power both City and our economy forward. City has been investing in the city. They've done 4 affordable housing projects here in Charlotte that have created or preserved over 630 units. The state was proud to support this investment with a JDIG grant. Partnering with the Department of Commerce and the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, we're the North Carolina General Assembly, thank you members, the Community College System, the Commerce Department's Division of Workforce Solutions, and Mecklenburg County and Charlotte as well. The way I see it is that North Carolina was the perfect choice for City to make. After all, we are the nation's second largest financial center. For decades, the financial services industry has been integral to North Carolina's economic success, nowhere more so than here in Charlotte. Our state's success in banking and financial services serves as the foundation for success in so many other economic sectors: information technology, life sciences, advanced manufacturing, agriculture, and so much more. Strong financial institutions are integral to strong communities. So our state's success is intertwined with the finance world's success. And here in North Carolina, we've been fortunate to experience some success in the past year. This last year, we ranked the #1 state for business. That's for the 3rd time in the last 4 years. The #1 state for workforce development. The #1 state for economic development. We're the #1 state for job growth in the whole country in the 4th quarter. We're the #1 state where people from other states are moving to. All of this success is an outgrowth of our top-tier research universities and community colleges, our business-friendly climate, and our unmatched quality of life. But above all, it's because of our people. Our highly skilled workforce makes businesses want to establish themselves and grow here, and that makes people want to settle and work here. So to the city team, we look forward to all the good work that you and your people will do here as you continue to benefit from everything that our state has to offer. And thank you for all the opportunities that you're going to create for our people with your additional investment in this town. We're excited to see your continued growth in the Queen City, and I look forward to continuing to partner with you and all of our financial institutions to build a North Carolina that is safer, stronger, and more prosperous with real opportunity for every person. Thank you, and I will now invite forward our Lieutenant Governor, Rachel Hunt.
All right, and before we get to the next speaker here, we'll take another break here on Live Impact News. Hey folks, back here in the Live Impact News studio, we're turning now, continuing with this marking of the grand opening of a new Citigroup office in Charlotte. We just heard from the governor, Josh Stein, who was in town today to mark this occasion. We know that this is set to bring more than 500 jobs to the Charlotte area. We're picking up now with our next speaker.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. It is great to be back in Charlotte. I lived here for 30 years, as some of you know. I miss it. I miss my friends. I'm so happy to see so many of you today. So announcements like this feel especially meaningful to me. Today is about opportunity. When a global company like Citi chooses to grow here, it means good jobs and real momentum for our state. Adding more than 500 positions right here in Charlotte is a big deal for this community and for North Carolina. It also says something important about our state. Companies look carefully at where they invest, and they're looking for talent and a place that's preparing for the future. North Carolina continues to stand out because of the strength of our workforce and our commitment to education and training. something I think about a lot as Lieutenant Governor. Whether it's our universities or our community college workforce programs across the state, we know that investing in people is the best way to stay competitive and keep attracting companies like Citi. Charlotte has long been one of the country's leading financial centers, and today's announcement only strengthens that reputation. This kind of investment also shows how North Carolina grows best when strong cities like Charlotte help drive opportunity across the entire state. That's a big part of what I mean when I talk about building a future-ready North Carolina. I want to thank Governor Stein and the many local leaders and legislators here in Mecklenburg County who helped make this project possible. And to the team at Citi, thank you for choosing North Carolina. Congratulations. We're excited to see what happens next. And now I will bring up Chair of our County Commission, Mark Jarrell.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As our governor and lieutenant governor were speaking, I could only think to myself, isn't it great to live in North Carolina? I'm Mark Jarrell, and it is truly an honor to be here today. We know that these types of ribbon cuttings don't just take shape overnight. This moment actually represents the byproduct of hard work, collaboration, and frankly, a bold vision. And so today, on behalf of the 9-member Board of County Commissioners, I do have one of my colleagues, Susan Rodriguez McDowell. This is her district, and she chairs Economic Development Committee for us. We just want to say this is an amazing win for Citigroup, for the city of Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, and the entire state of North Carolina. And I certainly would be remiss. I want to thank Governor Stein, Lieutenant Governor Hunt, Councilman Driggs, and all of our elected colleagues for being here today. This is an important milestone. I'd also like to acknowledge our respective teams and the staff for their hard work and their dedication. Most of you don't know that staff is really the driving force that propels the progress that we continue to make and celebrate in our community. To Cindy and the rest of the Citigroup, I'd like to once again thank you for really choosing to bring this facility to Charlotte, to Mecklenburg County. The ongoing investment and the commitment to our residents has really brought a lot of promise to our community. The Board of County Commissioners remains steadfast in our commitment to expanding job and economic opportunities to improve the quality of life for all of our residents. So this partnership not only checks off a lot of boxes for us, but it actually pulls most of the levers that the county has at its disposal when it comes to creating conditions that will foster greater upward mobility. And with today's ceremony, we're meeting that moment. And this was announced about 8 months ago when Citigroup decided to join a long line of businesses that have studied this community, they've studied this state, and really made the bold and forward-thinking decisions to be a part of our growth. The county's working relationship with Citigroup will certainly have a ripple effect that transcends our borders, jurisdictions, and even markets. The investments that went into this partnership will certainly impact countless lives and shift the trajectory of many families in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg community. And I think I speak for everybody when I say we can't wait for our planned and shared vision for this facility and our residents to come to fruition. So once again, on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, I want to say thank you all for being here for this important celebration. And most importantly, thank you for your continued partnership and service to our great community. And at this time, I will bring up Councilman Ed Driggs. Thank you, everybody.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ed Driggs, and I am the Charlotte City Council member for District 7, which is where we are here. The previous speaker stole most of my lines, so I want to, as a personal note, I want to point out I worked in financial services for over 30 years, and I traveled all around the world. And what struck me was everywhere I went, there was a city branch. There wasn't necessarily a consulate, but there was a city branch. It was probably one of the biggest networks of any kind in the world. They're a global powerhouse then and now. So it's a great pleasure for me to congratulate them on the occasion of their expansion here in Charlotte, and particularly here in South Charlotte, in this district. I think you know that Charlotte has earned its place as a world-class financial center, and we are particularly pleased to welcome the expansion of a world-class bank. And you'll find that being down here in Ballantyne is a great experience. From the Bowl to the new Wegmans and now this major expansion, the area is thriving. These projects are creating energy, jobs, and opportunities for residents across our city. Every job means support for a family, a stronger neighborhood, and a more connected community. That's what makes days like this so meaningful. We're proud of the partnership we've built with Citigroup and thank the leadership that makes this investment possible. Together, we're shaping a Charlotte that's not only competitive on the global stage, but deeply committed to the people who call it home. Thank you and congratulations to Citi and everyone involved. Now I'd like to bring up Ed Schuyler.
And before we go to a next speaker here, another break on Live Impact. Back in 2 minutes to wrap up this grand opening of the new Citigroup office here in Charlotte. Welcome back, everyone, to Live Impact News. We'll continue on with this grand opening of the new Citigroup office here in the Charlotte area. We've been hearing from various speakers, including we heard from the governor, also folks on the local level involved with the government, county, and city. We're now picking up with our next speaker here to wrap things up.
Commissioner McDowell, the council member, Jags. You were supposed to get here on time, but we started the circle, and then when the pilot came on and said, well, we've got to divert to Raleigh-Durham because we're running out of fuel, I said, well, I guess I can't argue with that. But I made it, and I'm really pleased to have done so, because this day is really a result of a lot of work that we've been doing at the firm over the last couple of years. We've been looking at all the places where we have a presence, and where do we want to grow. Where are we about just right? And in some places, frankly, given our business model or the economics of those locations don't make as much sense for us. We haven't made a lot of decisions in order to establish a new presence. But when we looked around, especially in the United States, and we looked at the quality of talent, the quality of life, the business-friendly environment here in Charlotte, it really became a no-brainer. And we've been dating for a little while. We had a WeWork location where we had a couple hundred people. We'd had previously a permanent site. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention the state directly to yourself. But we were there for 15 years or so and left that during the pandemic. But we decided not only to plant the flag here and tap into this wonderful environment that Governor Stein and his team have created, because not only did we have people that were here, they're wonderful employees, many of them are here, we also, because of this great amount of talent in the community, we saw an opportunity to grow. So we're going to be about 400 people by the end of next month, and we project over the next 3 years bringing that to about 800 people. And we'll have ultimately 3 floors in this wonderful building and about 90,000 square feet total. So we're going from dating to getting serious, and we couldn't have picked a better place. Maybe we could have picked better weather, but it doesn't matter. I think this. We are really delighted to make this investment. We'll spend about $15 million in the facility, bringing it up, trying to make a state-of-the-art workplace for our wonderful people that are spanning whether it's marketing or finance or operations or our credit cards business. And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention what Cindy does, but it is very important. The compliance and know your client work that she's that she runs. But we're not only investing in this facility and in the economic development of Charlotte and North Carolina, we are investing in the community as well. There's no place that we have a presence that we don't partner with the community. We do it a couple of different ways. One is direct financial support. I just met on the way in the head of Nourish Up, and we're really pleased to start a relationship with you through a significant contribution. But we also do it through our own volunteering. And we have Global Community Day coming up in a couple months, and we're still going to have some great activation here. So it is wonderful to be here with you. It is maybe a long time coming, but I had the pleasure of meeting the governor in Washington last year when we were both attending a conference about how to drive more investment into the United States. And when I spoke with him and sat with him and heard about his vision and heard directly about what has been built here, it really became a no-brainer. It really clinched it for us. So we're really pleased with all the support we've had across the city, state, even our understand we have representatives from both the Senate and the House representatives here as well. It's been a joint effort, a team effort. We're really pleased to be here, and we intend to be here for many years. So thank you, and I don't want to delay the exciting moment any further.
All right. So thank you so much, Ed, and I'm so glad that you made it here safely. Sorry that you were touring North Carolina on your way here, but at least you made it here safely. So one of the other things that, as Ed had mentioned at City, our community partnership isn't about just doing part of what we do. It's about part of who we are. So, and while today's ribbon cutting symbolizes our continued investment and presence in Charlotte, nothing demonstrates our commitment more clearly than supporting organizations that strengthen this community. And that's why we are so proud to recognize Nourish Up today. And I'm even more proud to announce that City is making a $50,000 investment with Nourish Up committing 500 volunteer hours this year. So team members, get ready. We've got a lot of volunteering to do. And to help advance this work and supporting our community in Charlotte. So this is more than just an opening of a new office. It's a reaffirmation of our long-standing commitment to the people and the neighborhoods of Charlotte. I'd like to invite Tina Postal, our CEO of Nourish Up, to share a few words, and afterwards, we'll present Tina with a ceremonial check to celebrate this partnership. Tina?
Oh my goodness, you get a hug for that. Ed, I hope you don't mind, but I think after a transformational gift and commitment like that, I think, is it okay to say that we're engaged? Let's go beyond dating. Wow, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, my name is Tina Postel, and I am the CEO of this incredible nonprofit called Nourish Up, formerly known as Loaves and Fishes Friendship Trays for any longtime people in the room. And at Nourish Up, we operate a network of over 41 emergency food pantries all throughout the Charlotte-Mecklenburg community. In addition to that, we deliver groceries each and every day to people who can't make it to one of our 41 locations. And if that wasn't enough, each and every day we are also the primary Meals on Wheels program for this community, delivering over 500 medically tailored meals to people who are homebound and otherwise would have to go without. And you know what? Weather like this doesn't stop us. At 10 a.m. this morning, when the tornado warning hit, we had 50 cars in our driveway full of volunteers ready to deliver their Meals on Wheels route. We pulled them all safely inside to the most interior portion of the building for about 15 minutes, and then they went straight back out to work, not missing a beat. And that kind of commitment couldn't happen if it weren't for the extraordinary team of volunteers that we have and the extraordinary team of corporate supporters. So there are so many supporters in this room today. And City, I am just so happy to invite you to this incredible family, and I hope you continue to grow along with us, and thank you for this transformational gift that really will make such a difference to each and every neighbor in need that we serve in Mecklenburg County. Thank you.
So thank you again for joining us as we celebrate City's continued investment in Charlotte and the partnerships that we make the city stronger. Now let's present the check, cut the ribbon, and make it all official. So Ed and Governor Stein, if you'll come up here, and all of our elected officials.
Was I supposed to bring it?
We'll see.
I can't stand behind him.
Where's the check? Oh. I'm sorry. Check. Oh my goodness.
Wow,
Look
nice.
at that.
Y'all hold that.
Good luck fitting that into the ATM.
Right.
Well, hold on. Come on.
I think the balloons are kind of in the way.
Maybe we move our balloons.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Let's just do that for a moment. There we go.
Can I get that?
Of course.
There you go.
And there you have it, folks. The grand opening of the new Citigroup office here in the Charlotte area. We will keep you updated as we learn more about development, but we are hearing that this is going to bring more than 500 new jobs to the Charlotte area. We'll be back in 2 minutes with more Live Impact News. Thanks for sticking with us. All right, folks, welcome back here to Live Impact News. A little politics to talk about out of the Palmetto State. As first up here, we have Congressman Ralph Norman announcing intentions to file for the governor's race. Let's listen into a bit.
Tonight, we will elect a businessman and a proven conservative with a solid record to clean up Columbia and give the state back to we the people who pay the taxes that support this government. Thank all of you for coming, family, friends. God bless South Carolina. God bless America. I will be happy to take any questions should the media have any.
Congressman, how much have you staffed up on your campaign?
It's not so much staffed up with people. We have had a tremendous amount of volunteers all over the state. I was in Greenville Saturday, and we've got people that are knocking on doors, giving out literature that have just bought into what we're doing. And I guess the encouraging thing to me, I've run one of the most lean campaigns and will run one of the most lean campaigns there is. And it's the volunteers. It's the people behind me and so many others who are coming to the forefront. And I use as an example when I announced, and you never know when you announce, and I announced July 27th, whether you're going to have 50 people or 100. We had over 1,100 people that drove from all over the state that supported what we're running on. So beefing up with volunteers, yes.
I think over the weekend, some of your supporters have tweeted out or retweeted how the prediction market has increased your chances in this race. Whether the prediction markets are right or not, who knows? But that probably means that you're going to get a lot more attention from the other people running. How dirty do you expect this race to get, and how much less will you get?
Politics being dirty? Joe, I am shocked. You're telling me something I don't know. Look, politics is a blood sport, but I take the opposite approach. That being said, you need good people who are not out to game the system. I don't have anything to gain. I made my money. Sure not at the State House in Columbia. It sure wasn't in Washington, D.C. So let them say what they want. I mean, I don't care, to be honest with you. As a lady told me one time, and she was fielding Democrat candidates to run not only against me, but against a lot of other races, that the Republican was going to win. You know what the comment was? When I asked her, I said, why are you spending money to like in my district, I won 60% higher. She said, Norman, you don't understand. We want to blood it up so much that it will discourage your family from wanting you to run and your relatives. When they said that, I said, I'm glad I'm in. We're going to change the system. I don't care what they do. I expect it. And it's a sad day, but evil triumphs when good people stay out. That ain't going to happen with me.
How soon do you get up on the air?
I'm not going to tell you. let me tell you this.
Good question.
Let me tell you this, Joe. It will be for June 9th. I'm not going to commit to anything.
What's the main thing that makes you stand out from the rest?
I'm not part of the establishment. To change the system, you can't be a part of it. The other candidates are nice people, but look at them. One has had 13 years to change the system. The other has had 8 years to change the system. And y'all know who I'm talking about. And where's the change? We're still 42nd in education. Our roads lead the nation in deaths on the Secretary of Roads. Our judges, the way they're picked, when have they ever said anything? When have they ever said that they were going to cut taxes other than around election time? I've been a taxpayer hero for 8 years and 9 years. And the fact is that the votes that I've taken, I've got a scorecard that everybody can look at. I hadn't changed, and I've been fighting the system for a long time. I will fight it in Columbia. And here's the important part. On June 9th, the people in South Carolina will elect the next CEO. And whether it's a runoff, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a Republican. The next CEO. And get this, you can't change, you can't fire, you can't decide you don't like that CEO. He's locked in for 4 years, and I would make the argument he's locked in for 8 years. Now think about that. If you hired a football coach, you couldn't fire for 4 years or 8 years. Think about a doctor who you hired to do surgery on you, and he's only said he's going to do these things, which is what the other candidates, they say they're going to do these things, but where have they been? Cutting taxes. While they've been in office, where have they advocated for cutting taxes? I'm going to cut your taxes, but I'm going to cut your expenses, and I'm going to put it online where the frivolous money is going. You won't find $1 billion like we found last year just out of nowhere. No more gummy bear museums. No more non-essentials. We're going to... And I say that because I have trust in the American people. And for too long, we've had politicians who are Republican. We've got a supermajority. They campaign on less government, less taxes, freedom. And then they come up here and vote the way they vote. I'm tired of it. That's why I'm running for governor. This wasn't on my radar screen. But now, I'm so glad I'm doing it because the corruption is real. The things I've advocated for, no one is going to do it but me.
Do you have any kind of timeline on when you may pick a running mate as your lieutenant governor?
I'm in no hurry. We got more people that have wanted to come forward, and like anything, you got to be the lieutenant governor has got to be the one in line if something happens to me. So I'll take my time. It'll be before June 9th.
Is there something you're looking for specifically in that person, whether not being in Columbia, as you've been mentioning, cleaning up Columbia, not being here at the State House, someone from the outside?
My lieutenant governor will be the road czar, meaning they're going to coordinate fixing our roads, fixing our 1,000 bridges that are about to fall down. And so it'll be somebody, I want the business community involved. I want somebody that's been out of politics. Politics ruins a lot of people, and I want somebody that is unaffected, that will make hard decisions and not care about the outcome. We're going to do what's best for the state, and we're going to do what's best for the people. So it will be a person that's strong, that can take adversarial positions with the status quo here in Columbia, South Carolina, and you'll be happy with who I pick. The liberals won't be happy.
What is your message to lawmakers who you feel may not have been getting the job done in the last several years, especially when it comes to roads and things of that nature?
My message to those that serve with the elected officials here, get on board with us. Let's keep this state pristine. Let's keep this state free. Let's do it for the people. My biggest fear, and I say this a lot, is we wake up one day and we're like a state who back in the 70s had everything we have. They had the beaches, the mountains, the cities, the good government for the most part. Under Ronald Reagan, California thrived. Under the leadership that you have today, look what's happened to it. It's a melting pot for thieves, for drugs, and that's not going to happen in South Carolina. And I will tell you this too: we're not giving the state away just because a company wants to come here. They're going to have to pay us, and they're going to have to tell us why they're here. I'm not going to have unlimited growth. I'm going to have businesses that will stand the test of time, and that they can't tell Ralph Norman we're just going to provide jobs. I'll give you an example. Scout Motors is a disaster. Under Ralph Norman, that would not have happened. An electric car. I mean, get this, for you young people, an electric car company that's moving their headquarters to Charlotte, their high-paying jobs. At some point, I'm going to get all the paperwork, all what they've signed, and see if we've got a clawback. And that the money we've expended, they hadn't met their side of the bargain. Now, politicians can't make these kind of decisions. Politicians that have never signed the front and the back of a paycheck, I'm sorry, it's not in their DNA. It is mine. I made money, I've lost money. And we're going to make money for South Carolina. So my message, in short, get on board with us, help us out. The things I mentioned are common sense. This isn't rocket science, and we're going to major instead of majoring in the minor, we're going to major in the things that will help the state be competitive. It will help the quality growth that will come here. If they don't, then we're going to have a discussion, and we the people are going to be involved.
There's reporting that Ron Ready's been launch a campaign for governor. He's got deep pockets just like you. How much
Deep pockets? What's that mean?
how much of a wrench is that going to throw into this race and into your campaign?
It's not going to be a wrench. Look, I'm open for everybody. The water's warm. If you've got something to offer, bring it on. Come on in. Put your money on the line. Put your name on the paper, and jump in. We need new ideas. I've never met the man. I don't know him, but I admire his courage if he decides to do this. And I don't look on that as a wrench. Look, we're all accountable to we the people. On June 9th, you will pick who they think can do the best job. I'll gladly throw my name in, and as well as compete against anybody else, because competition is what makes this country great. And I'm excited, and let others get in. I don't criticize them. Now, if they have bad ideas, like some of the candidates running for office now, I'm gonna point it out. Yeah. Okay, thank y'all for covering it. Thanks for keeping the weather.
All right, folks, so we'll keep you posted as the politics starts to develop with that Palmetto State governor's race. Of course, that will be very interesting to see with the field of candidates all tossing their names into the hat there. We'll go ahead and take another break. Back with more. We've got up next Senator Lindsey Graham speaking on the impacts of the Iran conflict. So we'll see you in 2 minutes with that. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Live Impact News. We are turning now to the latest in the conflict with Iran. The airstrikes continue against Iran, and tonight we're hearing from South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. He is defending these ongoing strikes, saying that this is necessary for national security, even as we are starting to see oil and gas prices climb. Let's listen into a bit of his address today.
I count my blessings every day. Things were good until they're not. Does that sound familiar to people listening? You wake up one day and your life's turned upside down. So Darlene comes along and we're living good life. I'm going to the University of South Carolina, the first in my family to ever go to college. And my mom gets diagnosed, our mom gets diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease. She's much younger than my dad. And she goes first, and everybody thought she would be around when he was gone. 15 months later, he dies. So I'm 22, and both my parents are gone, and my sister's 13. I know what it's like to have your life turned upside down. People help me, my family and my friends. If there's a self-made man in politics, it is not me. I'm here today because all of these people from day one Denise, Greg, the whole team. So I understand where I came from, and I understand what a blessing my life has been. And the only way I can pay you back for the blessings I've received is to be the most thoughtful, relevant, aggressive senator to make sure that our state needs are met, and as a people we can thrive and survive in dangerous times. To the good Lord, thank you for giving me a life I never dreamed I could have. So this campaign is going to be about you. What can I do to help your family stay safe and be prosperous? We cut your taxes. We're going to deregulate the country. We're going to get these wars over in an honorable, just way, so we won't be threatened in the future. If the radical cleric in Iran had a nuclear weapon, he would use it. Just as certainly as Hitler would have used it. He would kill all the Jews and we're next. Thank God he didn't get there. Thank God for President Trump. Thank God for our men and women in the military. If you're not in awe, there's something wrong with you about who they are. Now, how are they able to do what they've done? Prepare, train, and be equipped. I'll put my efforts to make sure the military has what they need to win the wars we're in ahead of anybody in the United States Senate. I never lose sight of that. And the dividends you see, as a result, you see the dividends of what we're able to do in Venezuela and now Iran. These wars will be over, and when they're over, we'll be safer. Your gas prices will go down, not up. 31% of the known petroleum reserves in the world are in Venezuela and Iran. We're going to have partners in Venezuela and Iran soon that will help us, and the biggest loser will be China. So America's position in the energy markets when these wars come to an end is going to be dominant. We're already energy independent. If we can have a say about production over there to the benefit of the United States, we're energy kings. So thank you all for believing in me, helping me, supporting me even when it's hard. To my staff, Richard, Van, everybody here, I don't want to start naming names, you have really delivered for the people of South Carolina. I feel like we help you to the extent we can. When you come in and have a need, we try to meet it. Because when I was a young man and lost my parents, if it weren't for Social Security survivor benefits, we wouldn't have made it. Pell Grants, we wouldn't have made it. So when you come into my office, we may not get the outcome you desire, but we work as hard as we can to get the outcome you deserve. I've never been more proud of the people who got me to where I am today. I've got a great campaign team. I've got a great official staff. I've got a great family. I've got great friends. I am the luckiest man in South Carolina. We're going to win this race. A new addition to the family. If you can't exploit your family, what good are you? This is our sweet Emily. Come on, Kyle. Come on up, darling. This is Copeland. He's the newest addition to Team Graham. His beautiful mom, Emily, Darling's daughter, has had a lot of medical challenges. We have great medical systems, and this young man is a blessing. We were wondering what had ever happened. And this mother fought for this child. And he's got the best daddy in the world. And as you can tell, he may be starting tackle at Clemson or Carolina. Yeah. God bless you, pal. Vote early, vote often. Oh, where's she at? Come here, Nicole. I didn't mean to leave you behind.
And Larry.
Come on, Larry. Yeah.
Larry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's easy to forget your brother-in-law. So, This is Nicole. She is so smart, we're wondering what happened. You make us proud. She is a gifted student, gifted athlete, and Larry, you've been a blessing to our family.
Thank you, sir.
You're the only good thing that's ever come out of New Jersey. God bless you. Thank you all. All right. Questions? We're done? Go back to work. Thank you.
You want to take a couple questions?
Sure.
Okay.
We don't have to. We got free Chick-fil-A. That's all right. We're good. Thank y'all.
All righty.
All right, there you have it, folks. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, touching on a couple topics. We heard him remarking on the situation with Iran. Also, you heard a lot of campaign messaging there. He has filed for re-election officially. We're going to turn now to some news today from President Trump, just appointing Vice President J.D. Vance as the chair of a new fraud task force. Let's go ahead and listen in to that announcement.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. This is a very big thing that we're doing. It's about fraud, having to do with all the fraud that's taking place in our country. And we have two people that are extremely brilliant and just very talented, and they're going to be put in charge. But I'd like to ask Will, if you would, to give a little description of what we're signing, the executive order, and then I'll ask J.D. to speak.
Yes, sir. As you stated in your State of the Union address, in light of widespread revelations of fraud in federally funded programs in states like Minnesota and California, this executive order in front of you will establish a new task force aimed at rooting out that fraud, returning potentially billions or tens of billions or even hundreds of billions of dollars to the American taxpayer. This task force will be chaired by the Vice President. The Vice Chairman will be the head of the FTC, Andrew Ferguson, who's with us here as well today. But this is going to launch a whole-of-government approach to rooting out the very serious problem of fraud in federally funded programs around the country.
As an example, you've been seeing it, and seeing it pretty big in Minnesota, $19 billion. But that's only for one little aspect of the fraud. It's $19 billion, and California, as they say, is 10 times worse, and other states are 10. And this is not a Republican-Democrat thing. This is wherever it's taking place. It seems that it's usually in blue states. If it's in a red state, we're going there too. But it seems that it's heavily, heavily, heavily Democrat. And what they've done is so sad. When you look at the Minnesota scam, a lot of it has to do with Somalia. Nobody's calling out anybody, but a lot of it has to do, but it's Somalia and plenty of others. And I believe the governor is complicit. I believe Ilhan Omar is complicit. I believe that your Attorney General is complicit, and if they are, you're going to hopefully find out about it, and you're going to have to do what you have to do. If we found half of the fraud that's taking place in this country, and I think you have a chance of doing that, we would have much more than a balanced budget. That's the kind of numbers you're talking about. The theft is incredible. And I think J.D. will make, and Andrew will make, a charge later on that local states should handle nursing homes and all of these things, that the federal government shouldn't be involved in. It's too big. The federal government should handle military and a couple of other things. But when it comes to nursing homes, you saw where a young gentleman was going around and knocking on doors, and none of the nursing homes existed, none of the nurseries existed. The money that's being paid out, and the federal government pays for it. When you see all these people coming in illegally into our country, many criminals, many drug dealers, murderers, 11,888 murders, and you look at California, and more come in, and yet they never had money, and yet they pay them. You know why they pay them? Because the federal government is charged with paying. We're not paying them anymore, and I said that. So these two really smart guys are going to be, I think it's going to, hopefully it's going to be JD's. This will not be like a Kamala where she was put in charge of the border and she never went there, JD, right? You promise?
I promise, sir.
Remember Kamala was put in charge. She was the border czar. She never went to the border. She never called any of the great Border Patrol. The Border Patrol testified. We never spoke to her in 4 years. And that was a disaster. But this is different. This is a different group of people. I think maybe before JD, I'll ask Stephen Miller say a few words too, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, under President Trump's leadership, as we've seen, the illegal flow across the southern border was stopped completely. But what we found since President Trump came into office is that the Democrats have set up a system to funnel hundreds of billions and ultimately trillions of dollars to migrants that are in our country, oftentimes from places like Somalia. So as an example, ICE recently asked a group of illegal immigrants that were in detention whether or not they were receiving Medicaid. Half of them raised their hands and volunteered that they were on Medicaid. Just volunteered that. These aren't the ones who are hiding it, right? They also asked illegal aliens how they paid their medical bills, and they said that if they don't have Medicaid, they go to hospitals, they get free care there, and they bill it to the taxpayers. So they aren't paying for any of their own health care.
All right, folks, and our time here on Live Impact is coming to a close. Don't forget, we've got a great lineup for you going through the rest of the evening, starting with Flashpoint right after this program. So you can catch that in just about 2 minutes after our quick break, and then stay tuned all the way through the 11 o'clock news. I'll see you then.